Britney Spears, born December 2, 1981, is an American singer, dancer and actress. Born in McComb, Mississippi, and raised in Kentwood, Louisiana, she performed acting roles in stage productions and television shows as a child before signing with Jive Records in 1997. Spears' first and second studio albums, Baby One More Time 1999 and Oops, I Did It Again 2000, became international successes, with the former becoming the best-selling album by a teenage solo artist. Title tracks, Baby One More Time and Oops, I Did It Again, broke international sales records. In 2001, Spears released her self-titled third studio album, Britney, and played the starring role in the film Crossroads 2002. She assumed creative control of her fourth studio album, In the Zone 2003, which yielded the worldwide success of the single Toxic. In 2007, Spears' much-publicized personal issues sent her career into hiatus. Her fifth studio album, Blackout, was released later that year, and spawned singles such as Gimme More and Piece of Me. Her erratic behavior and hospitalizations continued through the following year, at which point she was placed under a still ongoing conservatorship. Spears' sixth studio album, Circus 2008, included the international chart-topping single Womanizer. Her seventh studio album, Femme Fatale 2011, became her first to yield 3 top 10 singles in the United States. She released her 8th studio album Britney Jean in 2013. Later that year, Spears began the 4-year residency show, Britney, Piece of Me, at the Access at Planet Hollywood Resort Casino in Las Vegas. In 2016, Spears released her 9th studio album, Glory. Spears is regarded as a pop icon and credited with influencing the revival of teen pop during the late 1990s. She became the best-selling teenage artist of all time and garnered honorific titles including the Princess of Pop. Her work has earned her numerous awards and accolades, including a Grammy Award, 6 MTV Video Music Awards including the Lifetime Achievement Award, 10 Billboard Music Awards including the Billboard Millennium Award, and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In 2009, Billboard ranked her as the 8th overall artist of the decade, and also recognized her as the best-selling female artist of the 2000s, as well as the 5th overall. The Recording Industry Association of America lists Spears as the 8th top-selling female artist in the United States, with 34 million certified albums. She has sold 100 million albums and over 100 million singles worldwide, making her one of the best-selling music artists of all time. According to Billboard, Spears has sold about 22.38 million singles in digital downloads in US and is the 4th best-selling female artist since Nielsen SoundScan began. Rolling Stone recognized her instant success as one of the top 25 teen idol breakout moments of all time, while VH1 ranked her 11th on their 100 Greatest Women in Music list in 2012, and Billboard named her the sexiest woman in music. Forbes reported that Spears was the highest-paid female musician of 2012, with earnings of $58 million, having last topped the list in 2002. 1981 to 1997, early life and career beginnings. Spears was born in McComb, Mississippi, the second child of Lynn Irene Bridges and James Parnell Spears. Her maternal grandmother, Lillian Portale, was English-born in London, and one of Spears' maternal great-great-grandfathers was Maltese. Her siblings are Brian James and Jamie Lynn. At age 3, she started attending dance lessons in her hometown of Kentwood, Louisiana, and was selected to perform as a solo artist at the annual recital. During her childhood, she also attended gymnastics and voice lessons, and won many state-level competitions and children's talent shows. Spears made her local stage debut at age 5, singing, "What Child Is This?" at her kindergarten graduation. She said about her ambition as a child, "I was in my own world, I found out what I'm supposed to do at an early age." At age 8, Spears and her mother Lynn traveled to Atlanta, Georgia for an audition in the 1990s revival of the Mickey Mouse Club. Casting director Matt Casella rejected her for being too young to join the series at the time, but introduced her to Nancy Carson, a New York City talent agent. Carson was impressed with Spears' vocals and suggested enrolling her at the Professional Performing Arts School. Shortly after, Lynn and her daughters moved to a separate apartment in New York. Spears was hired for her first professional role as the understudy for the lead role of Tina Denmark in the off-Broadway musical Ruthless. She also appeared as a contestant on the popular television show Star Search and was cast in a number of commercials. In December 1992, she was finally cast in the Mickey Mouse Club alongside Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling, and Kerry Russell, but returned to Kentwood after the show was cancelled in 1996. She enrolled at Park Lane Academy in McComb, Mississippi. Although she made friends with most of her classmates, she compared the school to the opening scene in Clueless with all the cliques. "I was so bored. I was the point guard on the basketball team. I had my boyfriend, and I went to homecoming and Christmas formal. But I wanted more." In June 1997, Spears was in talks with manager Lou Pearlman to join the female pop group Innocence. Lynn asked family friend and entertainment lord Larry Rudolph for his opinion and submitted a tape of Spears singing over a Whitney Houston karaoke song along with some pictures. Rudolph decided he wanted to pitch her to record labels, therefore she needed a professional demo. He sent Spears an unused song of Toni Braxton. She rehearsed for a week and recorded her vocals in a studio with a sound engineer. Spears traveled to New York with a demo and met with executives from 4 labels, returning to Kentwood the same day. 3 of the labels rejected her, arguing that audiences wanted pop bands such as the Backstreet Boys and the Spice Girls, and there wasn't going to be another Madonna, another Debbie Gibson, or another Tiffany. 2 weeks later, executives from Jive Records returned calls to Rudolph. Senior Vice President of A&R Jeff Fenster stated about Spears' audition that it's very rare to hear someone that age who can deliver emotional content and commercial appeal. For any artist, the motivation, the eye of the tiger is extremely important. And Britney had that. She then sang Houston's I Have Nothing 1992 for the executives, and was signed to the label. They appointed her to work with producer Eric Foster White for a month, who reportedly shaped her voice from lower and less poppy delivery to distinctively, unmistakably Britney. After hearing the recorded material, President Clive Calder ordered a full album. Spears had originally envisioned Sheryl Crow music, but younger, more adult contemporary, but felt alright with her label's appointment of producers, since it made more sense to go pop, because I can dance to it, it's more me. She flew to Chiron Studios in Stockholm, Sweden, where half of the album was recorded from March to April 1998, with producers Max Martin, Dennis Pop and Rama Yacob, among others. 1998 to 2000. Baby One More Time and Dupes. I Did It Again. After Spears returned to the United States, she embarked on a shopping mall promotional tour to promote her debut album. Her show was a 4-song set and she was accompanied by 2 backup dancers. Her first concert tour followed, as an opening act for NSYNCH, her debut studio album. Baby One More Time was released on January 12, 1999. It debuted at #1 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and was certified 2 times platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America after a month. Worldwide, the album topped the charts in 15 countries and sold over 10 million copies in a year. 30. It became the biggest-selling album ever by a teenage artist. The title track was released as the lead single from the album. Originally, Jive Records wanted its music video to be animated. However, Spears rejected it, and suggested the final idea of a Catholic schoolgirl. The single sold 500,000 copies on its first day, and peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, topping the chart for 2 consecutive weeks. It has sold more than 10 million as of today, making it one of the best-selling singles of all time. Baby One More Time later received a Grammy nomination for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. The title track also topped the singles chart for 2 weeks in the United Kingdom, and became the fastest-selling single ever by a female artist, shipping over 460,000 copies. It would later become the 25th most successful song of all time in British chart history. Spears is also the youngest female artist to have a million-seller in the country. You Drive Me Crazy was released as the 3rd single from the album. It became a top 10 hit worldwide and propelled Baby One More Time to sell even more. As of today, it has sold 30 million copies worldwide, making it one of the best-selling albums of all time. It is also the best-selling first album by any artist ever. The April 1999 cover of Rolling Stone featured Spears lying on her bed, covered with a bra, shorts and an open top. The American Family Association referred to the shoot as a disturbing mix of childhood innocence and adult sexuality and called to God-loving Americans to boycott stores selling Britney's albums. Spears responded to the outcry commenting, "What's the big deal? Have strong morals. I do it again. I thought the pictures were fine. And I was tired of being compared to Debbie Gibson and all of this bubblegum pop all the time." 38. Shortly before, Spears had announced publicly she would remain a virgin until marriage. On June 28, 1999, Spears began her first headlining Baby One More Time tour in North America, which was positively received by critics, but generated some controversy due to her racy outfits. An extension of the tour, titled Crazy 2K, followed in March 2000. Spears premiered songs from her upcoming second album during the show. This version is strictly for demonstration purposes only. Oops! I Did It Again, her second studio album, was released in May 2000. It debuted at number 1 in the US, selling 1.3 million copies, breaking the SoundScan record for the highest debut sales by any solo artist. The album sold over 25 million copies worldwide to date, making one of the best-selling albums of all time. Rob Sheffield of Rolling Stone said that the great thing about Oops! Under the cheese surface, Britney's demand for satisfaction is complex, fierce and downright scary, making her a true child of rock roll tradition. The album's lead single, Oops! I Did It Again, peaked at the top of the charts in Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom and many other European nations. The album as well as the title track received Grammy nominations for Best Pop Vocal Album and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance, respectively. The same year, Spears embarked on the Oops! I Did It Again tour, which grossed $40.5 million. She also released her first book, Britney Spears Heart to Heart, co-written with her mother. On September 7, 2000, Spears performed at the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. Halfway through the performance, she ripped off her black suit to reveal a sequined flesh-colored bodysuit, followed by heavy dance routine. It is noted by critics as the moment that Spears showed signs of becoming a more provocative performer. Amidst media speculation, Spears confirmed she was dating NSYNC member Justin Timberlake. She also bought a home in Destin, Florida, 2001-2002, Britney and Crossroads. Spears performing at the NFL Kickoff Live, September 2003. In February 2001, Spears signed $1 million promotional deal with Pepsi, and released another book co-written with her mother, titled A Mother's Gift. Her self-titled third studio album, Britney, was released in November 2001. While on tour, she felt inspired by hip-hop artists such as Jay-Z and the Neptunes and wanted to create a record with a funkier sound. The album debuted at number 1 in the Billboard 200 and reached top 5 positions in Australia, the United Kingdom and mainland Europe and sold over 12 million copies worldwide. Stephen Thomas Erlewine of AllMusic called Britney the record where she strives to deepen her persona, making it more adult while still recognizably Britney. It does sound like the work of a star who has now found and refined her voice, resulting in her best record yet. The album was honored with 2 Grammy nominations, Best Pop Vocal Album and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for Overprotected, and was listed in 2008 as one of Entertainment Weekly's 100 Best Albums from the past 25 years. The album's first single, I Must Lay For You, became a top 10 hit worldwide. Spears' performance of the single at the 2001 MTV Video Music Awards featured a caged tiger and a large albino python draped over her shoulders. It was harshly received by animal rights organization PETA, who claimed the animals were mistreated and scrapped plans for an anti-fur billboard that was to feature Spears. To support the album, Spears embarked on the Dream Within a Dream tour. The show was critically praised for its technical innovations, the piece de resistance being a water screen that pumped 2 tons of water into the stage. The tour grossed $43.7 million, becoming the second highest grossing tour of 2002 by a female artist, behind Cher's Farewell Tour. Her career success was highlighted by Forbes in 2002, as Spears was ranked the world's most powerful celebrity. Spears also landed her first starring role in Crossroads, released in February 2002. Although the film was largely panned, critics praised Spears' acting and the film was a box office success. Crossroads, which had a $12 million budget, went on to gross over $61.1 million worldwide. In June 2002, Spears opened her first restaurant, Nyla, in New York City, but terminated her relationship in November, citing mismanagement and management's failure to keep her fully apprised. In July 2002, Spears announced she would take a 6-month break from her career. However, she went back into the studio in November to record her new album. Spears' relationship with Justin Timberlake ended after 3 years. In December 2002, Timberlake released the song Cry Me a River as the second single from a solo debut album. The music video featured a Spears lookalike and fueled the rumors that she had been unfaithful to him. As a response, Spears wrote the ballad Every Time with their backing vocalist and friend Anand Ardani. 67. The same year, Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst said that he was in a relationship with Spears. However, Spears denied Durst's claims. In a 2009 interview, he explained that "I just guess at the time it was taboo for a guy like me to be associated with a gal like her." 2003 to 2005, In the Zone and Marriages. Spears performing during the Onyx Hotel tour on April 2004. In 2003, Spears opened the 2003 MTV Video Music Awards with Christina Aguilera, performing like a virgin. Halfway through they were joined by Madonna, with whom they both kissed. The incident was highly publicized. Spears released her fourth studio album, In the Zone, in November 2003. She assumed more creative control by writing and co-producing most of the material. Vibe called it a supremely confident dance record that also illustrates Spears' development as a songwriter. 69. NPR listed the album as one of the 50 most important recording of the decade, adding that the decade's history of impeccably crafted pop is written on her body of work. In the Zone sold over 609,000 copies in the United States and debuted at the top of the charts, making Spears the first female artist in the SoundScan era to have her first 4 studio albums to debut at number 1. It also debuted at the top of the charts in France and the top 10 in Belgium, Denmark, Sweden and the Netherlands. In the Zone sold over 10 million copies worldwide. The album produced the hit singles, Me Against the Music, a collaboration with Madonna. Toxic, which won Spears her only Grammy for Best Dance Recording. Every Time and Outrageous. In January 2004, Spears married childhood friend Jason Allen Alexander at the Little White Wedding Chapel in Las Vegas, Nevada. The marriage was annulled 55 hours later, following a petition to the court that stated that Spears lacked understanding of her actions. In March 2004, she embarked on the Onyx Hotel tour in support of In the Zone. In June 2004, Spears fell and injured her left knee during the music video shoot for Outrageous. Spears underwent arthroscopic surgery. She was forced to remain 6 weeks with a thigh brace, followed by 8 to 12 weeks of rehabilitation, which caused the Onyx Hotel tour to be cancelled. During 2004, Spears became involved in the Kabbalah Center through her friendship with Madonna. In July 2004, Spears became engaged to American dancer Kevin Federline, whom she had met 3 months before. The romance received intense attention from the media, since Federline had recently broken up with actress Shar Jackson, who was still pregnant with their second child at the time. The stages of their relationship were chronicled in Spears' first reality show Britney Kevin, Chaotic. They held a wedding ceremony on September 18, 2004, but were not legally married until 3 weeks later on October 6 due to a delay finalizing the couple's prenuptial agreement. Shortly after, she released her first fragrance with Elizabeth Arden, Curious, which broke the company's first-week gross for a perfume. In October 2004, Spears took a career break to start a family greatest hits. My Prerogative, her first greatest hits compilation album, was released in November 2004. Spears' cover version of Bobby Brown's My Prerogative was released as a lead single from the album, reaching the top of the charts in Finland, Ireland, Italy and Norway. The second single, Do Something, was a top 10 hit in Australia, the United Kingdom and other countries of mainland Europe. The greatest hits album sold over 5 million copies worldwide. In August 2005, Spears released Someday I Will Understand, which was dedicated to her first child, a son, who was born the following month. In November 2005, she released her first remix compilation, Be in the Mix, The Remixes, which consists of 11 remixes. It has sold over 1 million copies worldwide. 2006 to 2007, Personal Struggles and Blackout. Spears leaving court surrounded by paparazzi in October 2007. In February 2006, pictures surfaced of Spears driving with her son Sean, on her lap instead of in a car seat. Child advocates were horrified by the photos of her holding the wheel with one hand and Sean with the other. Spears claimed that the situation happened because of a frightening encounter with paparazzi, and that it was a mistake on her part. The following month, she guest starred on the Will and Grace episode by Baby's closeted lesbian Amber Louise. She announced she no longer studied Kabbalah in June 2006, explaining, My baby is my religion. 2 months later, Spears posed nude for the cover of Harper's Bazaar. The picture was heavily compared to Demi Moore's August 1991 Vanity Fair cover. In September 2006, she gave birth to her second child, a son. In November 2006, Spears filed for divorce from Federline, citing irreconcilable differences. Their divorce was finalized in July 2007, when the couple reached a global settlement and agreed to share joint custody of their children. Spears' Aunt Sandra Bridges Covington, with whom she had been very close, died of ovarian cancer in January 2007. In February, Spears stayed in a drug rehabilitation facility in Antigua for less than a day. The following night, she shaved her head with electric clippers at a hair salon in Tarzana, Los Angeles. She admitted herself to other treatment facilities during the following weeks. In May 2007, she produced a series of promotional concerts at House of Blues venues, titled the M+M's Tour. In October 2007, Spears lost physical custody of her children to Federline. The reasons of the court ruling were not revealed to the public. Spears was also sued by Louis Vuitton over her 2005 music video Do Something for upholstering her Hummer interior in counterfeit Louis Vuitton cherry blossom fabric, which resulted in the video being banned on European TV stations. You do not have a valid verification file. Please contact our sales support team to obtain a valid license. In October 2007, Spears released her fifth studio album, Blackout. The album debuted at the top of charts in Canada and Ireland, number 2 in the US Billboard 200, France, Japan, Mexico and the United Kingdom, and the top 10 in Australia, Korea, New Zealand and many European nations. In the United States, Spears became the only female artist to have her first 5 studio albums debut at the 2 top slots of the chart. The album received positive reviews from critics and has sold over 3 million copies worldwide. Blackout won Album of the Year at MTV Europe Music Awards 2008 and was listed as the 5th best pop album of the decade by The Times. Spears performed the lead single Gimme More at the 2007 MTV Video Music Awards. The performance was panned by many critics despite the backlash. The single rocketed to worldwide success, peaking at number 1 in Canada and the top 10 in almost every country it charted. The second single Piece of Me reached the top of the charts in Ireland and reached the top 5 in Australia, Canada, Denmark, New Zealand and the United Kingdom. The third single Break the Ice was released the following year and had moderate success due to Spears not being able to promote it properly. In December 2007, Spears began a relationship with paparazzo Adnan Khalib. 2008 to 2010, Circus, image of a blonde female performer. She has a headset around her hand and is wearing sparkling silver and black lingerie, fishnet stockings and knee-high black boots. She stands in front of a black and golden couch. Spears performing Freak Show at the Circus starring Britney Spears, May 2009. In January 2008, Spears refused to relinquish custody of her sons to Federline's representatives. She was hospitalized at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center after police that arrived at her house noted she appeared to be under the influence of an illicit substance. The following day, Spears' visitation rights were suspended at an emergency court hearing, and Federline was given sole physical and legal custody of the children. She was committed to the psychiatric ward of Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center and put on 5150 involuntary psychiatric hold. The court placed her under temporary, and later, permanent conservatorship of her father James Spears and attorney Andrew Wallet, giving them complete control of her assets. She was released 5 days later. The following month, Spears guest starred on the How I Met Your Mother episode 10 Sessions as receptionist Abby. She received positive reviews for her performance, as well as bringing the series its highest ratings ever. In July 2008, Spears regained some visitation rights after coming to an agreement with Federline and his counsel. In September 2008, Spears opened the MTV Video Music Awards with a pre-taped comedy sketch with Jonah Hill and an introduction speech. She won Best Female Video, Best Pop Video and Video of the Year for Piece of Me. A 60-minute introspective documentary, Britney, For the Record, was produced to chronicle Spears' return to the recording industry. Directed by Phil Griffin, For the Record was shot in Beverly Hills, Hollywood, and New York City during the third quarter of 2008. The documentary was broadcast on MTV to 5.6 million viewers for the 2 airings on the premiere night. It was the highest rating in its Sunday nighttime slot in the network's history. In December 2008, Spears' 6th studio album Circus was released. It received positive reviews from critics and debuted at number 1 in Canada, Czech Republic and the United States, and inside the top 10 in many European nations. In the United States, Spears became the youngest female artist to have 5 albums debut at number 1, earning a place in Guinness World Records. She also became the only act in the SoundScan era to have 4 albums debut with 500,000 or more copies sold. The album was one of the fastest-selling albums of the year and has sold 4 million copies worldwide. Its lead single, Womanizer, became Spears' first number 1 in the Billboard Hot 100 since Baby One More Time. The single also topped the charts in Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Norway and Sweden. It was also nominated for a Grammy in the category of Best Dance Recording. In January 2009, Spears and her father James obtained a restraining order against her former manager Sam Lutfi, ex-boyfriend Adnan Khalib and attorney John Eartley, all of whom, court documents claim, had been conspiring to gain control of Spears' affairs. The restraining order forbids Lutfi and Khalib from contacting Spears or coming within 250 yards of her property or family members. Spears embarked on the circus starring Britney Spears in March 2009. With a gross of US $131.8 million, it became the fifth highest grossing tour of the year. 125. In November 2009, Spears released her second greatest hits album, The Singles Collection. The album's lead and only single, 3 became her third #1 single in the US. In May 2010, Spears' representatives confirmed she was dating her agent Jason Trike, and that they had decided to end their professional relationship to focus on their personal relationship. Spears designed the limited edition clothing line for Candies, which was released in stores in July 2010. In September 2010, she made a cameo appearance on a Spears-themed tribute episode of American TV show Glee, titled Britney. The episode drew Glee's highest ratings ever. 2011 to 2012, Femme Fatale and The X Factor. In March 2011, Spears released her seventh studio album Femme Fatale. The album peaked at #1 in the United States, Canada, and Australia, and peaked inside the top 10 on nearly every other chart. Its peak in the United States ties Britney with Mariah Carey and Janet Jackson for the third most #1s among women. It has sold 1 million copies in the United States and 2.2 million worldwide, and has been certified platinum by the RIAA. The album's lead single Hold It Against Me debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming Spears' fourth #1 single on the chart and making her the second artist in history to have 2 consecutive singles debut at #1, after Mariah Carey. The second single Till the World Ends peaked at #3 on the Billboard Hot 100 in May, while the third single I Wanna Go reached #7 in August. Femme Fatale became Spears' first album in which 3 of its songs reached the top 10 of the chart. The fourth and final single Criminal was released in September 2011. The music video caused controversy when British politicians criticized Spears for using replica guns while filming the video in an area of London that had been badly affected by the 2011 England riots. Spears' management briefly responded, stating, "The video is a fantasy story featuring Britney's boyfriend, Jason Trike, which literally plays out the lyrics of a song written 3 years before the riots ever happened." In April 2011, Spears appeared in a remix of Rihanna's song S&M. It reached #1 in the US later in the month, giving Spears her fifth #1 on the chart. On Billboard's 2011 year-end list, Spears was ranked number 14 on the Artists of the Year, 32 on Billboard 200 Artists and 10 on Billboard Hot 100 Artists. Image of a blonde female performer surrounded by a group of dancers. She is sitting on a purple couch and wearing a golden outfit. The dancers are wearing short black hooded sweatshirts. Spears performing Gimme More at the Femme Fatale Tour, July 2011. In June 2011, Spears embarked on the Femme Fatale Tour. The first 10 dates of the tour grossed $6.2 million, landing the 55th spot on Pollstar's Top 100 North American Tours list for the halfway point of the year. The tour ended on December 10, 2011 in Puerto Rico after 79 performances. A DVD of the tour was released in November 2011. In August 2011, Spears received the